It's November, which means the race for Best Actress is heating up, and that's what I want to talk about today. We got a few new big releases this weekend that added a few contenders to the Best Actress race. Plus, this November, we're going to be seeing other movies such as Hamnet, Wicked for Good debut in theaters, which means Best Actress is getting loaded real quick. What I find very interesting about this year's Best Actress race is there is a lot of contenders, and I think a lot of people who have viable ways to get into this year's Best Actress race. There's not a plethora of choices. Some years I can go like, well, there's 20 names that are kind of here. This year, I think there's like 8 or 9 who are real contenders, but all of them I think have a legitimate shot. I think there are spots within this year that are pretty much a lock. We'll talk about a few of those, but there's like this 4 and 5 spot for Best Actress this year where I really think it's up in the air for anyone to grab. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's Best Actress race. So we're going to do this the same way I always do this. We're going to jump over to a tier system, which let me make sure I pull this up right. 3, 2, 1, go. And we're recording now. So for Best Actress, I have 13 names we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be ranking them from locks, contenders, sleepers, one that's question mark. We'll get to that in a second, and then not happening. I think we've seen some performances already stumble out of the gates this year. So let's just kind of talk about the first one. Let's go with the least likely or not happening. And this film you can now see in theaters right now. I will be hopefully seeing it this week, maybe on Veterans Day if I have the chance. But it is Felicity Jones in Train Dreams. Now, this movie is heating up to potentially be the Oscar frontrunner for Netflix. This seems to be a film that people are digging. People are really into it. This premiered at Sundance last year, Joel Egerton in this movie. I think it is a film that is peaking at the right time. A lot of people seem to be pushing it forward. Netflix already has a pretty crowded slate this year with Jay Kelly, with Frankenstein. I don't think with House of Dynamite, but they have that on their books as well. Train Dreams exist in this place where I'm hearing a lot about everything else besides the Felicity Jones performance. I'm hearing about the direction, the cinematography, the writing, the performance from Joel Egerton. I just don't see it coming from Felicity Jones. This might be my own bias as well, because I am just personally not a huge fan of Felicity Jones. She was my least favorite part of the Riddle list last year, and she typically is not one of my favorite working actresses. But for now, we're going to put Felicity Jones in the not happening. Maybe I'll see the film and I'll be dead wrong. I'll be seeing it again and hopefully reviewing it by the end of this week. The next performance that I want to talk about, this is where I get to the question mark, question mark, question mark. Some of you might tell me I'm wrong. I've been seeing some divided thoughts about this online of how much as a contender is Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, which is about a Neil Diamond tribute band and like falling in love. I'll be honest, every time the trailer pops up for this in the theaters, I tune out. I think this trailer is like cringe to the max. I can't deal with it. This does not look like my cup of tea. This is not a film that I'm anticipating. I will probably skip this film unless I'm hearing enough people be like, you kind of have to watch it because it might be an Oscar contender, or maybe Kate Hudson couldn't get in there. If that's the case, then I guess I just have to go see it. Until then, I am like making a stand of I don't want to see this movie. It looks terrible. I'm hearing enough people kind of suggest maybe Kate Hudson's a sneaky Oscar contender for Song Sung Blue. Again, I'm not seeing it, but there's like just enough punditry out there that is like, hey, she's like a real contender. This kind of feels like the inauthentic thing of like Kate Hudson's just friends with a lot of people in Hollywood. Like, what does this actually mean? So I am out of basis on my own principles of watching the trailer and like wanting to like gouge my eyes out, not putting it on anywhere higher. So I'll put it on question mark, question mark, question mark for here. Again, I have no anticipation for this movie. It does not look good. I find the trailer, just nothing for me. Let's talk about the next performance. This is from a film that I am anticipating. I don't know when I'll get to see it. I'm hoping December. It is the new Bradley Cooper movie, Is This Thing On? Which Laura Dern is in this film as the wife of the Will Arnett character. They're going through a divorce. I've heard this is a very relational movie. This is a couple going through something, and I've heard Laura Dern's really good in this movie. This is another case of a movie where I don't know how much awards buzz it's going to get, but I really like Bradley Cooper as a director and a writer, and I'm kind of hoping for the best for this movie, and I want to see this movie, and I could see this being more of a personal favorite than I necessarily seeing it as an Oscar favorite. I'm not positive myself, but I've heard so much good things about this movie. At this moment, I just don't think it seems particularly likely, so I'm going to put it at not happening. I will have her above Felicity Jones. The next category I have here, or the next actress, I should say, is one that I think most people were probably predicting to be a top 5 this year, and then the film came out, and the reception for the film just bombed, and it premiered at Venice, and people did not like this film. I saw this film a few weeks ago. I waited about a month after its release because I had heard such negative things, and hearing about After the Hunt, like, I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, this looks like my worst nightmare of a movie. I kept describing it as a movie that looked to give Bill Maher a boner. Like, that's just not what I wanted to see in a movie. Like, it just looked like this we don't believe women the movie, or women lie about sexual assault the movie. Like, these shades of Me Too that I just didn't think was particularly interesting to explore in a film. It really didn't feel particularly insightful, at least how the trailer positioned this movie. I saw the movie and it has so many faults, and some of them are the things that I just mentioned. I think there is far more nuance in the film at times. The third act is a disaster, but I do think there's more nuance in there, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I thought, from an actress that I'm not a huge fan of in Julia Roberts, I thought she gave a legitimately good performance. The issue is this film's completely falling off. No one's talking about it. It bombed. It has no critical reception that is positive. This is just kind of the case of the only way it would get in is a Julia Roberts Best Actress nom, and it's just not happening. So I'm putting her in the not happening category. Next on this list, and this is one of the performances that I mentioned people can now check out in theaters this weekend, with Die My Love. This is the new this is the new Jennifer Lawrence movie about a wife going through something. I will be seeing this film probably tonight. I'm very curious about this film. I know it's had a pretty tepid response everywhere that it's premiered. I believe it premiered at Cannes too. Pretty soft response, but the thing that I keep noticing is Jennifer Lawrence keeps getting called out in praise. This seems to be a performance people are really digging from her, a performance people really like. So I do think she is a contender this year. I don't know how much of a contender she is, but I think she is in this race. Simply due to the reason that, one, I think the Academy already just has a soft spot for Jennifer Lawrence, but if this is career best work from her, which I've seen some people suggest, then I do think there is a legitimate shot for her to get in. It seems to be the issue with this film is the reception of it. I don't think people are caring for the film in a large amount. Like, people really need to be behind the film, or they need to be so behind the performance, like another film we'll talk about in a second. Regardless, I'm putting her in the sleeper. I think this is another challenge that she has of the only real category this film could get nominated for is Best Actress, and I think that's just a tricky spot, where some of the other films we'll be talking about in a second, it feels like they'll be in multiple categories, so it's easier to see the film getting attention, where Die My Love is really hinging on the Jennifer Lawrence performance getting notoriety. Let's talk about the next performance I have on here. Another film that came out this weekend. I got to see it 2 weeks ago as one of the Cinemark secret movie screenings, and I didn't know what to expect. I was hoping for the best because I like this actress enough. Like, I am a defender of this actress in the sense that I think when she acts, I think she's pretty talented. When she does basically anything else, when she's on social media, when she's selling jeans, it's a whole other story. But I think when Sydney Sweeney actually is like willing to get into a performance, I think she's good. I saw her in Eden this year. I liked her in Eden. I see her in a film like Reality, and I like her in Reality. I don't think she can do comedy like Anyone But You. I just don't find her particularly funny or charismatic that way, but I think she actually does have a transformational quality as an actress that I find admirable. She does that in Christy, which I think is a career best performance from Sydney Sweeney. I do think she's great in this movie. The film itself I thought was good. I don't think it's a great film, but I think it's a good film that has great performances in it. Ben Foster and Sydney Sweeney are great in this movie. I don't know how to feel about this. On one side, I could kind of see Hollywood kind of anointing her. At the other point, it kind of feels like the controversy of everything is really real around her, and I could kind of just see people being rubbed off by it in a poor way. I think she's put herself in a poor light this year. So I think if it was just based on performances, I would have her in my top 5. It actually is one of my favorite performances of the year. Everything else surrounding it, and the fact that Christy is also another of these movies that I just don't really see having the fanfare to get in. It's not having the love for its performances. I'll put her in the same sleeper category because I think there's a chance, and I would probably say that more people seem to be buzzing about the Sweeney performance. And I think it is more transformational than they are Jennifer Lawrence. But I don't think at this moment it gets in the top 5. Which, let's bring us to the next performance. This is the one I have no clue what to make of. This is almost a question mark. But I'm not going to have it in here. It is Amanda Seyfried in The Testament of Anne Lee. I heard it's good. It's another film I don't know what to make of. It is a musical film about, it's either the founders of the Quakers or the Mormons. I don't remember exactly what it is. Directed by, I'm blanking on the person's name, but they were also a screenwriter on The Brutalist last year. Amanda Seyfried seems to be getting all the love and attention this year. Could this film kind of sneak in? I believe it was acquired by, is this a Searchlight film? I might be wrong on that. Regardless, I saw the trailer. The trailer has beauty in it. I see the cinematography on display. Like, there are elements where at first you hear about this film and it kind of sounds just dreadfully boring, to be honest. And then you start hearing other qualities of the film, and you start hearing how much praise Amanda Seyfried's getting. And then there's this new musical element that people are really digging with it. And I'm like, oh, maybe this film isn't going to be as bad as I thought it was. And then you see the trailer, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of into it. Maybe this will work. I think this film will have a bias against it of people thinking how I might think and not seeking it out. If this film gets sought out, then I think it's a real chance to get in, especially with Amanda Seyfried, who apparently gives a great performance. I can't say much more on it, but I think at least it's a contender. I could kind of see her sneaking in, which leaves us 6 performances to talk about. So let's get into the next one. I am going to, and I kind of battled back and forth what I was going to do here with my 5 and 6. I am now going to put at my 6th slot. This was a switch. I had her at my 5th. It also helped that I saw one of the other performances in here. I am going to put Chase Infiniti at my 6th slot right now. One battle after another. I think Chase Infiniti is great. I am a little surprised at the decision to run her in Best Actress. I don't think it's wrong to run her in Best Actress. I understand the logic well enough. She is the actress who has the most screen time in this movie. It's the challenging thing where for the first 40 minutes of the movie, she's not in it. For the second act of the movie, she has, sections and chunks of it with Regina Hall in this movie, but it's really heavily focused on Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro in the second act. For the third act, it is her movie. So I understand. I don't think it's category fraud to have her in Best Actress. But I also think I would personally classify it as a Best Supporting Actress performance. I also think you look at the names above her, and it's kind of a powerhouse of actresses, and Chase Infinity's young. I don't know. Chase Infiniti kind of just feels like in the danger of being lost to the crowd in here. Again, I think she's really good in the film. I don't think Warner Brothers is doing her a service by putting her in Best Actress. I believe they did that because they're actively campaigning to get Tiana Taylor the Best Supporting Actress win, which we'll talk about in a few weeks when I cover that. I don't see that happening. And then I think they're also doing it to get Regina Hall in this race. I don't know. I think this is a disservice to Chase Infiniti. I think if she was in Best Supporting Actress, she might have a fairly good chance at winning, if we're being honest. So I think she is a contender. I have her in there. It is one of the questions that I have with One Battle After Another, where does it do so well at the Oscars that everyone gets an Oscar nomination for this? And if that's the case, she could kind of just like get in this. Kind of the same thing that happened with Stephanie Sue a few years ago with Everything Everywhere All at Once, where everyone was singling the Jamie Lee Curtis performance, and then day of, Stephanie Sue gets in. That leaves us to the top 5. We got Rose Byrne, we got Cynthia Erivo, we got Emma Stone, we got Renate Reinsve, and we got Jessie Buckley. So let's talk about the performance that I had at my 6 that now went into my 5. I have, you know what? I'm going to switch it again. I'm going to put Emma Stone at the 5. I saw Bugonia. I really like Bugonia. I think it is one of the best films of this year. And I think Emma Stone is spectacular in this film. This is maybe my favorite collaboration that she's done with Yorgos. This might be my favorite performance she's given in a Yorgos film. And that's a tough bar. I think she's quite good in Poor Things. This is a performance that has so much ugliness to it, and she's able to display it. There is this sympathetic quality because of the situation she finds herself in. There is this, you hate this character, you feel for this character, and you're perplexed by this character, and you're also with her as she's fighting for her life in this situation. Emma Stone does great work in this film. I am curious if this film is too weird for Oscar voters. I'm curious if this film gets embraced. It's had a soft reception. People like this film. People don't seem to think it's one of Yorgos's best. It's a far darker film than Poor Things, where Poor Things has real optimism in it. I don't believe Bugonia has that. This is more similar to The Lobster or to Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is cool, but I don't know if that's going to click in. I think Emma Stone is a contender because of how great the performance is and that partnership with Yorgos that the Academy has seemingly loved so far. But I don't know if this film is going to get the recognition and love. I'll put her at the 5, kind of soft 5 right now. Which brings us to the 4. She jumped. I had her at my 6 before starting this recording. But it's Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Which is just, I believe this is the best performance I've seen all year. I'd be kind of shocked if I saw a better performance this year in a film. Rose Byrne is sensational in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. This is such a complicated performance and an incredibly well-written character that every ounce of this movie relies on her. If this performance is not a powerhouse, this movie completely falls apart. And to Rose Byrne's testament, she is on screen 100% of this film. And often the camera is on a close shot of her face. This is an intimate experience. It is an anxiety-inducing experience. It is a very scary performance at times. And it's an extremely stressful performance. It's also quite funny at times. And Rose Byrne handles it all with mega, mega class. This is a career best performance for her, and this is a movie that I think should get that love. I hope, and maybe this is me going more on hope than logic, I hope they don't ignore this performance. So I'm putting her at a contender. She's at my number 4, which leaves us 3 slots. I will be seeing Wicked for Good in about a week. I have an early screening for that one. I'll be seeing it, I think, about 4 or 5 days early. At first, my logic for Wicked for Good was they just nominated the last film for everything. The last film has Defying Gravity, which is the showstopper. Is Wicked for Good just going to be considered a little lesser? Not a lot lesser, but just a little bit. Maybe people aren't as enthusiastic about it. Maybe there isn't that showstopper like Defying Gravity is and ends on that such triumphant note. It helps that the early screenings of this film have started and people are loving it. Now, take that what you will. A lot of those are influencers talking about it. I think this NBC screening they had for Wicked, I forgot exactly what it was. It was this variety show hosted by Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. That is garnering them a lot of acclaim and a lot of attention. The press cycle is back in for Wicked. There's new songs being in here. The hype that I thought might die down just isn't dying down, and I think people are just as enthusiastic, if not even more enthusiastic about it. That Erivo's kind of a lock for me in this. And I also do think it helps that Ariana Grande, who again we'll talk about in Best Supporting Actress, I think is probably in the best position to win an Oscar this year for Best Supporting Actress. I think she's probably going to win it this year. I might be wrong on that one. We'll see on that one, but I think she's kind of the front runner right now. So I just think Erivo gets in pretty easily. So she's a lock for me. Number 2 on this list is a performance that I will be seeing this Wednesday. And I always feel so bad because I believe I butcher her pronunciation of the name. I will learn the name before my review. I promise you. Renate Reinsve. Renate Reinsve. For Sentimental Value. It just seems that, and I believe this was also a Cannes film. This is coming from us from the same director, Joachim Trier, who brought us The Worst Person in the World, which also starred Renate. Everything about this performance has just been continuously, this is great, she's great, this will be one of the best performances of the year. And this is an Oscar frontrunner. It seemingly has not died from that place. I think she's going to get in it. Now, I've heard this is a bit quieter of a performance than maybe people are expecting, but I've heard, regardless, it's a very strong performance. I'll be able to comment more on it Wednesday. I've also been kind of distant on what this film is. I just haven't seen a lot of trailers for it. I've seen a few play. But this is another film where kind of want to just walk in as blind as I can, especially since I'm seeing it in 2 days, that there wasn't a need for me to research or kind of understand what this performance was beforehand. I'll be commenting on this performance later this month. Make sure to subscribe to this channel as well for more reviews. But the last performance, and I do think it's the front runner, it's probably even a done race. It seemingly is agreed that Jessie Buckley is going to win the Oscar for Hamnet, which follows Shakespeare and his wife, I believe her name is Agnes, handling the death of their son, which inspires Shakespeare to write the play Hamlet. This is a heavy film. I will be seeing this probably Thanksgiving. I believe that's when screenings will start here where I am. I'm curious about this film, but everything that I've heard is Buckley delivers the performance that is going to win. Now, I will say there are naysayers on this film. I've heard a lot of people who are not down with this movie, who find it emotionally manipulative, who don't think the performances are much. And I'm starting to see that vilification of this film happening online. I think that's real, and I do also think there is a quality and a group of people who are not really into Chloe Zhao. The Academy clearly is with Nomadland. I'm one of the few who was like, I don't know if one of the few, but I was somebody who was pretty happy with the Nomadland win that year. I do think that's a great film, and I do think Frances McDormand gives a great performance in that film. It just feels like this film has everything working in its favor. The people that are raving about this performance from Jessie Buckley, which seems to be close to universal, they're raving about it. So she is my number one. She's going to win it this year. I'd be pretty shocked if she didn't win it this year. Which brings us to the list. So let's go over this again. At number 13, I have Felicity Jones for Train Dreams. At number 12, I have Laura Dern for Is This Thing On? At number 11, I have Julia Roberts for After the Hunt. For number 10, and I'm against having it here, but I'm going to just acknowledge it. At number 10, I have Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue. Number 9, I have Jennifer Lawrence, Die My Love. Number 8, I have I have Sydney Sweeney in the film Christy. Number 7, I have Amanda Seyfried in The Testament of Anne Lee. Number 6, I have Chase Infiniti, One Battle After Another. Number 5, I have Emma Stone, Bugonia. Number 4, Best Performance of the Year, I have Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Number 3, Cynthia Erivo, Wicked for Good. Number 2, Renate Reinsve, Sentimental Value. And number 1, winning it this year, I have Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. So that is the discussion for today. That's my best actress rankings. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What films did I miss? Let me know everything below in the comments section below. Make sure you guys let me know what your best actress ranking is as well. I'm quite curious to see. So thank you to everyone who watched this video today. I hope you consider subscribing to this channel. I will have many more reviews coming out in the next few days, including reviews of Train Dreams, including hopefully a review of Die My Love. After the Hunt, maybe getting a review once PVOD hits. Wicked for Good will be getting a review, I promise you. Some of these films I will be seeing quite soon, and I can't wait to review them. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.